grams of test, milligrams of masteron, milligrams of tren a day, Trenex, trestolone, which is otherwise known as ment, milligrams a day, Clarinet, Proviron, Winnie, Danibar, Halo, Anadrol, tamoxifen, Arimidex, Tabor.
Oh, Joe. How's life with you?
Well, bro, life is good, man. I cannot complain. Like, it's been a bit of a crazy one since obviously turning pro, deciding to do America, and I won't go too much into that because I assume we're probably going to chat about it. But man, life is good, man. What about yourself? It's been a while since we've properly spoke. So it's good to hear from you, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, everything is good. Just I had like 9 months last year. I lived in Marbella.
Oh, mate, I love Marbella, man.
Yeah,
so good.
You know what, Joe? The best thing about it was trying it and then figuring out that I love living in Denmark even more.
I love that. Well,
it's just like being around my mates and my own gym and everything.
True. I think with me, it'd be probably the same sort of thing. It's the type of place I could go, stay for a few months, and then come home.
Yeah.
Because it's cool. Like the community there is good. Like the gyms are pretty good. Did you go to Oxygen Gym?
Yeah, that's where I train mainly.
Yeah. Because that's been built since I've last been. Is it any good?
It's very good. The only thing is like, it's hard to find like a good atmosphere in any of the gyms.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I actually think the best one is something called Ultimate Performance.
Oh yeah, no, I went to Ultimate Performance. I know that.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best one. Mike Sommerfeld was training at Oxygen when I was there.
Oh, was he? No way. That's pretty cool.
Bro,
that's awesome.
So friendly and so nice.
Yeah, whenever I've met him, he's always been super friendly. But yeah, Marbella is cool. But you're back in Denmark now. What part of Denmark do you live in? Copenhagen.
In Copenhagen. I trained at the same gym you went to when you were here.
Oh yeah, that was sick, man. I love that.
It's good, and they're always like building on it, and I'm good friends with the owner, so it's like I can have it any better. But you know what? Just like you said, the best lifestyle is really if you can stay home, do your online coaching, and then be like, I'll take a month in Dubai, or I'll take 2 weeks in the States, or something like that.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that's a nice way to be, because you've always got your home base, and then you just travel, and then when you're done, it's like, no, I'm going home. Exactly. Yeah, amazing, man. Love that.
So what do you? Let's just jump into it, man. So the reason I really, really wanted to do the podcast here is because I think you're going to be a huge inspiration for so many, because like we said, you just got the pro card, and like how many years have you been working on winning this pro card?
So a long time. So I started competing in 2014, so 11 years ago. But obviously when I first started competing back then, I wasn't into like the IFBB or competing within that. I was doing kind of like the more of the fitness modeling shows and stuff like that. But I started competing in the IFBB in 2018, did my first IFBB Pro show, IFBB show in Classic. And that was, I did that show, barely made weight then in Classic. And it was hard. But so basically since then, 2018 to now, so you could say 7 years direct competing with the IFBB. And then finally got
get the idea that like, okay, there's something that you could win a pro card, and that's what you set your mind on.
Yeah, so that first show back in 2018, I knew what a pro card was and what turning pro was. It was never in my mind at that point. I was like, I would like to do that, but I know I'm not there yet. I'd say probably 2020 to 2021 was like the year that I first started, winning bigger shows and beating, good names and stuff like that, and where I'd put on a decent bit of mass. Kind of just after I'd started working with Patrick Tor, actually, we put on some good mass in off season, and that was probably what I would say would be my kickstart year into, right, I can fucking do this, man. Let's go. So 2021. So I guess 4 years of thinking I'm here. Let's do it. And then obviously many shows of coming close and not quite getting it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that you were so close to winning pro? Do you remember how many times you were close to winning?
Very many times. So I mean, like, it depends what you class as close. Because say, for example, like I came second in the super heavyweights many times, but I would class that as that's obviously close, but then you still will go to the overall. So I went to like 4 overalls and lost in those, no, 3 overalls it was, and lost in 3 overalls, and finally my 4th overall I finally won. But then in super heavyweight classes I would do really well in my class, but then so many times there were somebody that turns up and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I think the thing is with super heavyweight bodybuilding, sometimes some of the guys that can turn up are like, you know, pro standard ready freaks, bro, 100%, like Florian Poisson, who's competing at the moment. I competed against him in 2020, I think, against him, and I remember going backstage and being like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's the level. And also Joseph Caviton, I think that's how you say his second name. He did the UK Ben Weider in 2023, and I remember we were all backstage like, okay, we're kind of probably fighting for second here. And I'm the guy. I was like, let's fucking go. But then as soon as you see someone like that who's of like literally elite level, it's like, okay. But yeah, we got it, bro. 2025 back at the Ben Weider UK Pro Qualifier in front of my home crowd. It was an incredible feeling, bro. And after, 11 years of competing, 7 years of competing in the IFBB, to finally get that thing that I've been working so hard for, like, I can't actually put it into words. I really can't. I had a client call just before this, and he said, well done again, and how did it feel? And I'm like, it's really hard to say it, I think my girlfriend termed it well when we left the competition. Firstly, the day at the show, I was like, my mind was blown. I didn't know what to say to people. And she said to me when we were driving home, how do you feel? And I said, do you know what? The main feeling that I feel right now is freedom.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Where
I get like almost a sense of relief.
Yeah, man, because I'll be honest with you, this year and last year, it was starting to get to the point where I wasn't enjoying it as much. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of external pressure as well. Like, people weren't directly saying to me like, you need to turn pro, but I felt that, you know what I mean? It's like there is that level of external pressure as well as the pressure I put on myself because I've been so close. And people always used to say to me, oh, I thought you were already pro. You know, it's like, fuck, like, I know I'm there, I think, but I haven't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you come close until you tick the box. So yeah, to get that box ticked is an incredible feeling. And also what it's done is it's opened up a whole new world of like motivation and drive. Because like I said, I was like, is this ever going to happen? Am I ever going to actually turn pro? Am I just going to be the guy that was good but couldn't get it done? But I think that's I guess you could say in a way, a testament to not giving up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? And that's why I really, really wanted to make this interview, because there are so many young guys listening or watching this that are in that same place. Maybe they've been bodybuilding for 2 or 3 years, and the thought of entering or the thought of winning a pro card has entered their mind. And it's fine to hear from the guy with the perfect genetics who wins the pro card in 2 years, but that's not something people can relate to. Like your journey is something everyone can relate to,
100%.
But what made you just like keep going on? And did you at some point think, okay, I'm gonna try for another year or so and then I'm gonna stop? Did you ever have that thought that you're like, maybe I should stop going for the pro card?
100%. 100%. I think up till like maybe the start of 2024, I was still like, I hadn't even thought about it. I hadn't even entered my mindset. I was just like, this is what I do. This is just what I do. My mindset was always, I'm still young. Let's go. And then it started to get to the point. It's like, I'm not actually that young anymore. And when I'm seeing guys competing who are like 20 years old, I'm like, I'm 15 years older than you. I'm 35 years old. Which do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I know 35 isn't old, as in like, I feel like I'm actually coming into my prime in terms of bodybuilding. But I was having the thoughts of like, should I be, because you know how much it takes out of you when you're prepping and you're competing. It's hard to be then, as into business and relationships, and it pulls from other areas because you're being so focused on this one area, right? And I think over the years I've been pretty good at being able to distribute my energy. I don't want to say evenly, but like accordingly. Do you know what I mean? So I can still get my business to a good point, full well knowing though that if I didn't compete, it would be better, 100%.
Bro,
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I've always had in my mind, because I know I'm not gonna become a pro, but like business wise, I've done very well.
Yeah, man. You've always inspired me with that, man. Your business is insane.
Thanks, man. But I've always had in my mind, okay, I could actually, like, my parents have always been like, honest, why do you train 6 times a week?
Yeah,
why
yeah,
do
yeah.
you do this? Why do you
Yeah.
still compete? Because I know that I could have maybe gone 30% more into the business or 20%, but then I wouldn't be happy.
Bro,
You know?
that is the underpinning factor of everything. Like, if you don't fucking enjoy what you do, you're gonna not. There's gonna be a point down that line where you're gonna stop doing it. So if you just did business and didn't do the thing that you're actually passionate about, which is training, you dwindle out. You probably not have the energy to put into your content and all that kind of stuff. Which you get the energy to do that because you train and you're still on that road of progression and wanting to better yourself. You know?
Yeah. And then you would be just like everyone else.
That's it, bro. We don't do that shit.
Exactly.
We're not average.
I work with do you know Charlie Johnson?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like a mentorship with him last year.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
and it was like he kept saying the same thing, like stop competing. But I was like, then I'm just exactly like every other coach you're helping here on the mentorship.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it, man. The thing is, like, these things go hand in hand, and
Yeah.
I think going back to the point you said about like, did I want to quit? Yes, 100%. And I think a point that I want to raise to, I guess, you guys watching and you younger guys watching, and this is a quote that I've heard so many times, and you would have heard it as well, is it takes years and years and years and years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
You know that, and I love that quote because look at it. It took me 7 to 10 years of competing to turn IFBB Pro, and yeah, there's going to be guys who do it in their first crack. You know, Sam Suleks and stuff, and you know what I mean, and people like that. And there's young guys who have crazy genetics, who they're the ones that you will see because they're the ones that have got the crazy social media profiles because of said genetics thing. So you see that and be like, oh, well, if he did it, it sets unrealistic expectations. When you look at most pros, I bet you if there was a thing of pros, how long it took them to get it and what age they were at, most guys would have taken, you know, good handful of years of competing to achieve it. So it's making sure you set realistic expectations, make sure you're looking up to the right people, you know. Obviously look up to those guys, those genetic freaks. I fucking love it. But just know that, like, that's not me. Like, I can't do that. But what that should also instill in you is that if I don't have the level of genetic gift, shall we say, to do what they've done in a short period of time, I probably need to work a damn sight fucking harder than they do. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? That work rate needs to be like, I need to do everything within my power. Because, and I'm not saying that people with great genetics don't work hard. Absolutely not. Of course they do. But they can get away with more if they need to. We can't. We can't. Like, if in the off season, if I miss a meal, I drop like 3 kilos. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. That's just my metabolism. But so yeah, it's a mad one, man. But people need to learn to not give up and know that it takes fucking ages, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of discipline. If you genuinely want to turn pro or whatever whatever the Bill turn pro with inserted commas, whatever that goal is, if it's something that's big enough that excites you, it's going to take a long, long time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There's going to be ups and downs, and you're not going to make it at the first shot, more than likely.
It's just like the saying goes, the man who loves walking will get further than the man who loves the destination.
Yeah.
You got to just like love. That's what I've gotten into now, because are you into like the new wave of peptides?
I'm slowly moving into it. So I work with Biolab. So since working with them, I've started to be like, right, I should probably know more about some of these things. So obviously the standard, like, you know, BPC and TB, etc. I'm starting to do more kind of research into more of them for sure. What about you?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say, because I've gone into a lot of them, and I think it's really interesting. But bro, it's so much work. It's like every day I'm like, okay, so I have my BPC TP 500, and then I have the MUTC that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I started doing L-carnitine before workouts, and I'm doing injectable SLU PP 32.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I'm doing a peptide before sleep at night, and of course the growth hormone, bro. Yeah. Every day I'm just like, fuck, man, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then I have my
I know.
And
yeah,
supplements. But there's also some sense of like, there's some sense of enjoyment about it, you know?
Yeah, because like we don't really fully 100% know what's gonna happen just yet, because there hasn't been a longer time enough horizon since the birth, shall we say, of these peptides, and obviously most of them aren't, FDA approved for human use, etc. Exactly. So we're kind of walking guinea pigs, really. But
yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Just the whole thing, because I'm in my off season now, but just the whole thing of like getting up and like everything is planned out from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Like I was dating a girl who was competing in bikini, and she was like as a natural, and often I was just looking at her thinking like, you have no idea how much goes into like advanced bodybuilder.
Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy. It's funny because like my partner, who I've been with now for 3 years, when we first got together, she wasn't like, she's not into she trains, but she's not into bodybuilding. She's in great shape, but not into our crazy world. And when I brought her into our world, she's just like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like it's for external people, and for her to now, it's quite funny because now she takes a lot of supplements, not like gear, but like health supplements and stuff. And she's quite interested. She looks on the Biolabs website and she's like, what, this is good for longevity. This is good for my skin.
That's the thing, bro. She will look at you and then she'll be like, but how do you have so good skin? Or how do you do this? And then they want to know.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot that goes into it. We're definitely looking into more of that stuff now for sure. There's some crazy things out there, isn't there?
Bro, I tried because I was always fat as a kid. So I've always had this whole even in my off season, it's been a battle to stick with the plan. I do it, but I always get like sugar cravings or
yeah. You're going to say you did Retta?
Exactly, bro. I did it for 2 months.
Yes. How'd you go?
So good. I love it.
Really? Wow.
Bro,
okay.
Because it's like if you just do like, I would do like 1 milligram every third day. And it's like I would keep my hunger or keep my appetite for the meals, but I would be like, I would never ever feel like, oh, I want to go get sushi or I want to go get some candy or some. I would just like, fine, this is my food, I'm gonna eat it, but that's it,
Do you know what, man? I feel like that would be so handy. Like I'm pretty lucky in that, like I said, it's hard for me to grow because I have to eat so much because my metabolism is fast. However, when I diet, it means I can diet on quite high food. Yeah. So I'm pretty lucky. But then to get that like razor condition, I do have to come down. That last little bit, I remember between the regional and the pro qualifier this year, we dropped by like another 1,500 calories down to like around about just under 3,000. I was on about 2.8, but I'd been running at 4.5. Yeah. So it felt like a big drop. So my hunger then was like, whoa, like that hit me like a brick wall. So I feel like that would be for me. I like, let's put some Retta in then, that'd be because I've just been on the vapes.
Oh, I was just about to ask you, are you still vaping?
Yeah, well, I've just stopped prepping, haven't I? So I'm still trying to, I'm in the period of trying to quit. Well, I haven't. Yeah. That's right now. I don't think. I feel like I'm probably now. Well, I'm 6 or 7 weeks post show now, so I don't think I can use the excuse of I'm still hungry. It's kind of that's. I would say this week I noticed. Oh, I'm not as hungry anymore.
Right.
So now I'm like, and I have promised my partner. They're stopping. So
never. Yeah. You sleep with the CPAP mask?
Yeah, it's just here. I just took it apart here. I've got to fill it up with the water.
Oh, nice.
After this. Yeah.
So, bro, what I do at night, like if I get up to go to the bathroom, whatever, and then when I go in bed, I have a vape at my bed, and then I have the mask on. Vaping, and then it's going through the.
Mate, I've not done that. I'm gonna have to try that out. There we go.
So if you put on my CPAP mask, it smells like watermelon bubble.
That's jokes. I'm gonna have to try that. See if I can put some vape oil in the CPAP water machine. Oh God.
But bro, I wanted to ask you also. So you mentioned with your girlfriend, and you guys seem like so happy, and she seems so supportive.
Yeah.
But do you think because you always like you seem like a family man also, and you always like visiting your family, having some fun nights and all that.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have balance while living as a pro, or like going for a pro?
I think yes. My personal opinion, yes. I think because even while you're having balance, there's levels of balance that you can have, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, there's balance in the sense of like, right, I'm gonna be 100% in the week, and then on the weekends I'm gonna fuck around for a bit. Whereas it's like with me, if I go back to say my parents' house,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna take my meals. I'm still gonna train. I still do. You know, I may have like say a meal off, but I would have that anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, the balance comes by actually more social. This is social balance, if that makes sense. Because to be honest, because I live in London now, I have less. I guess less friends here because I've moved away from my hometown.
Yeah.
So I know less people. So on the weekends, I don't really, you know, I go to the gym obviously and socialize at the gym, see people and friends there. But me and my partner, we just do stuff on the weekends ourselves. You know, because we live in London now, we're kind of like tourists on the weekend. We're like, let's go here, let's go there, and you know, and if I want to have some food on a Saturday, I will do. And I think for me, what's more important than being 100% hardcore motherfucking bodybuilder all the time is you're going to stress yourself out, man. And as we know, cortisol is like the fucking worst thing for all bodybuilders, whether you're bulking because then it's going to ruin your appetite, or whether you're, you know, in fat loss phase because it's going to stunt fat loss. So it's like just do shit that's fun, that you enjoy, that isn't going to fuck up your progress long term. That's my opinion on balance.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But you've been, because you have been living. Can you give the viewers like an idea of how on point your off season is? Like, what is a typical day, and like what, like everything that goes into living as not necessarily being a pro bodybuilder, but living as a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, so for me, like I said, if in the off season, when obviously the goal in off season is to add new muscle, right? Not necessarily, the goal isn't to put on body weight. And this is something that Patrick always drives home to me. Is like, we're not trying to get heavier, we're trying to add muscle, which by proxy you probably will get heavier, you know, but that's not the direct goal. Anyway, to answer your question, so with that in mind, if say for example, I have to eat a lot of food to grow. So last off season, in fact, the off season before last was worse. I was doing 7,500 calories for that. That was for 6 months straight, every single day. That was
that with Patrick Tour as well?
No, that was before I signed back with Patrick. Actually, it was when I was with Jimmy, and that was
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, with Jimmy. Yeah, and I enjoyed it because it was like, how fucking hard can I push here? You know what I mean? You know when you're in prep and you're like, I've got the minerals, I can push, I can do the. It was the other end of the scale. It's like, how hard can I keep going? You know, and keep doing this. It got to the point we were doing. Oh man, I was doing these crazy shakes, bro. So I'd have like a mad big shake in the morning, and then in the evening, and then my bigger meals, as in like meat meals in the middle of the day. It got to the point I was having this shake at nighttime. It was nearly 2,500 calories. It literally had like 250 grams of oats in it. I think it was like 60 grams of nut butter, 50 grams of jam, 50 grams of honey. I put in 2 Rice Krispie Squares bars, and then we got to the point putting in 1/4 of a carrot cake in it, and then protein and blending it. And it was just because at that point I was still pretty good body composition, but I couldn't push food anywhere else. It was like, what more can we put in here? Anyway, it got to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm tapping out, bro. I can't.
How long did it take you to drink that?
Mate, I'd do it in probably 30 seconds.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it was hard. What I'd do is I'd make it, you know, the big fucking Nucci blender jobby, and I would stand there and I'd literally put my hand on the sink, right? This is my technique, and I'd say, I'm not leaving the sink. I'm not taking my hand off the sink until it's done. And I would be fine. The quicker it would go in, the better. But that's when I was doing quite a lot of stuff then. I was doing like GHRP6 to help with the appetite. I was walking after each meal to make sure that I was trying to get enough steps. Because I think there's that balance of, when you're trying to grow, people don't seem to want to do cardio. Now, personally, if I did cardio, like direct cardio, my body weight and I would struggle to go up. So I don't do direct, higher heart rate cardio, but I will walk a lot.
Yeah.
And I think you need to not be scared to do that when you're looking to grow. And for a lot of people, they can probably get away with 20, 30 minutes of like actual cardio, whether it's on the bike or treadmill or, whatever, because it's going to help facilitate, nutrient partitioning and, increase insulin sensitivity when it can start to get a little bit blunted when food's getting smashed and whatnot. And obviously I was using insulin and all that kind of stuff too. So there's lots of ways to sharpen the spear, shall we say. But yeah, a typical day of that off season was hard. I'm not sure how this one's going to look yet, because I'm literally in the final week now of my health phase. I'm sitting at 5,000 calories, which is, very comfortable amount of food for me. And my weight's now held off at about 267 pounds now. So I'm quite looking forward to. I'm also on pretty much no assistance right now, and
it's not a true TRT.
Do you know what, bro? I'm actually on zero.
Really?
Actually on zero, yeah, which is interesting. So I did the first three weeks post show. I did 300 tests. 2 weeks after that, we did 150, and then I'm into the third week now of zero.
Okay.
And now, obviously, so my understanding and my thought process it's funny because Patrick always does these things, and I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. As in, like, maybe I didn't have the knowledge, or I don't want to say the knowledge.
He has the
intuition and application, because he does things that aren't really done, but he does them with people who are of a certain musculature and size that we know we don't have studies on that stuff, right? So whenever he said to do something that I'm like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Obviously, I do it, and every single fucking time, I'm like, yeah, okay, that works. Yeah. So I'm learning so much from him in terms of the way he applies critical thinking and reactive thought processes to what he sees. And so obviously we've been on third week now of no tests, and obviously if people like scientists heard his justification for why we're doing it, they'd probably be like, that doesn't work, bro, because, and probably with a lot of the stuff that he says and does, but a lot of stuff he does work because I'm a walking example of it, like some of the peaking strategies and stuff like that. I would think, oh, maybe I wouldn't have done that, but it works. So yeah, anyway, I'm currently feeling very natural right now.
But soon you're gonna push, and that's gonna be so much more effective.
Oh, mate, 100%. And that's kind of, if I can kind of try and put it into words of how he said it, it was kind of like, when we go down onto zero, we're also running some HCG and some Clomid too. So it's almost like your body his words were almost like trick the body into thinking it's going to start reproducing again. Now, obviously, that happen would take a very long time. And for me, probably wouldn't ever come back to the point that we'd want it anyway. But it was like, it starts to think that it's going to start doing it. And then we put, some testosterone in, and it's almost like it super compensates the initial effect. Now, I know that kind of sounds against what we understand from science, so to speak. But again, I'm just doing it because everything that he's told me to do so far, it's just worked. And I put my absolute trust into him, honestly. And looking at some of the results he's getting recently as well, is just like, bro, like, do you know what I mean? Like, even if it's whatever you want to call bro science or whatever, man, he's putting people on stage that look fucking nuts. So,
yeah. But
yeah.
Do you also do his SST training?
Yeah, so we not at the moment, because right now I think that would put me in the bin, to be honest. But I spoke to him, actually. We had a conversation yesterday, and I said, because I want to do it again. And right now he's like, just want you doing 1 to 2 sets, straight sets, no intensifiers, no SST stuff. But man, I love doing it so much. All through prep, actually, he didn't have me doing any SST stuff, because again, where my metabolism is very efficient, when I'm training like that, bro, burning too much, coming in too fast. So he was like, let's pull it back, bro. By the end, I was doing like 1 set on training. I was literally doing like one. I'd go in, I'd do like 7 sets. That would be it.
Wow.
across all my exercises.
But you're also fucking strong. So
Yeah, I mean,
because you couldn't give that to a client who's been training for 3 months.
oh hell no, because their one set doesn't quite look like my one set. You know, they're not doing crazy weights and stuff.
But it's funny because when you look at the science, also a lot of the guys would be like, well, you don't grow from getting a pump, and like SST or Hani's FST7, it's like scientifically they say that it doesn't work. But then if you hear all the pros, like Steve Kuplo would do it, like obviously, like all of Hani's clients, like Chris Bumstead and Phil Heath.
Yeah.
And like I just read an interview with Wesley Wissers. He says he also started doing it. He loves it also.
Yeah.
Like there has to be something about getting that
100%
pump, getting the metabolites.
Like for me, like the way that Patrick does it, obviously he does so SST. So what he'll usually do is we'll have like an initial heavy set, say 6 to 10. Say I'm doing like I don't know, leg press, right? So we'll do a heavy set of 6 to 10, which for anyone who's strong, 6 to 10 that's racked out. You got a lot of weight on that. Yeah. That's going to be creating a lot of muscular damage, right? And then the next set is when we go into the more, metabolic work. So that's when he'd implement one of his SST training systems within that. So he does these ones which is like 10 sets of 4. So like choose a weight that's like maybe a 8 to 12-ish rep weight, and you do 10 sets of 4. So think about that. In that time period, you just have 40 reps on a weight that you would normally do 8 to 12 on.
Yeah.
That is fucking hard. That is, man. Oh my days, that shit is hard because that's like the muscular damage. You're getting metabolic damage. It's like you're getting the whole shebang from that. So I think there's a lot of training whereby like FST7s when it's like really high volume stuff. I feel like with some people that may not work so well. But when he's obviously, I know it fluctuates through the different volumes over the different weeks. But like with the SST training, it's like you're kind of doing everything all the time. It's not like you're just doing high volume or low volume. Exactly. You're doing all of it with different intensity techniques. Some are like, let's say on a raised side raise or something, it might be like 4 sets of 12 with 30 seconds rest, or 4 sets of 15 30 seconds rest. So that's like a little bit more higher volume, less body, less rest, sorry. And you come out of that and you're like, fuck, pumped to shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then before that, you did a shoulder press, which was like, set of 6 to 8 shoulder press, which is heavy as fuck, into like a double drop set or whatever it may be. Yeah. So it's a good combination. I feel that he likes his guys to be strong, but also be able to have a bit of an engine as well to get through those hard sets. Because I think if you can train like that, like it's really hard, man. Doing it with intensity is really hard. But we love training, so it's kind of fun and sadistically challenging yourself every week. I used to go in and be like, "Fuck, I've got to do that again." Oh shit!
Exactly. Well, what was it like? Because one of you worked with Jordan Peters at some point, also, right?
Yeah, man. So I worked with Jordan back in. Do you know what? I think that was that I did my first show in 2018.
Yeah.
I did that. This was before you had to do regionals. They hadn't brought in the regionals at this point. So, I mean, there were regionals, but you didn't have to do a regional before pro qualifier. Something like that. It was a long time ago. So I did that first show in Spain where I did classic and I came third. And then I think the next year, Jordan took me on.
Okay.
And I went and I worked with Jordan for a couple of years actually. But I also had the pleasure of being able to train with him for about a year, I'd say.
It was like at this private. It looked like a small private place you trained at.
Yeah, so we actually trained at MJ's gym, which is kind of a gym in Tewkesbury down the road from where I used to live. And small gym, and Jordan basically just put in a shit ton of his own kit in there as well. He was like, said the owner was loving it. So he was like, yeah, sure, go for it. Let's just put that in. And we trained in there for about a year. And like, I always knew I could train hard, but training with him, like, I don't think there is anybody I honestly don't think there's anybody that trains to a higher intensity.
You guys actually train together?
Yeah, train together loads.
Okay, was that intimidating?
I think it would be for a lot of people. I not so much because I know Jordan, as in I knew him personally beforehand. so we could also have a normal conversation. But yeah, seeing him switch it on,
Yeah.
it would scare fucking a lot of people. And sometimes I was like, intimidate is not the wrong word, more like, holy fuck, like shit, like there's fucking levels to this game.
What does he?
Like,
What does he do? What happens when he, like, let's say he's on his heaviest set of hack squats or leg presses? What's his?
bro, you must have seen some of those. There's a video, right? And I was there at this session. You must have seen it. He's about to get into this Smith squat. He's got like 6 or 7 plates either side, and he's like, "Fuck, come on!" And he's like, just literally gets under it and just like, fuck yeah. And it's like, oh man, I just love it, because being around that energy, bro, you can't help but then be like, oh fuck me, it's my turn, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, you can't let him do that and then be like, oh okay, let's, you know what I mean? Like, just, so that's like training with people who are bigger, better, and stronger than you is the best way for you to become bigger, better, and stronger. You know, if you're the biggest fish in the pond, like, do you know what I mean? You're not going to grow.
Yeah. What works for you before the sets that might scare you? Like, where do you go? Do you go to a certain place where you're like, are you angry? Are you focused? Are you mad about something?
So a big thing for me is, number one, I don't go on my fucking phone, for you guys out there. Literally, honestly, I have my phone for Spotify, that's it. But my partner always knows when I'm at the gym, I'm not responding when I'm at the gym, because I'm not on my phone. I don't even open this. This is important to say this, because I need to be, when I'm doing crazy shit, I need to be so fucking focused. As soon as you open Instagram or WhatsApp or message or something else, you're taking yourself away from that focus area. And I know to some people won't understand this, because they just won't, and and that's fine, because they don't want to, or probably won't be able to train at that level and don't understand it, and that's fine. But for you guys out there who know, like you, for example, right? You know what it's like to get under like your PB every single week and try to have to progress that. You can't just walk in and be like, yes, bro, you good, cool, yeah, just doing this today.
Oh, exactly.
There has to be, I'm sure there are some people, but for most of us mere mortals, there has to be a sense of mental preparation. So for me, legs is probably the biggest one that I do get myself up, because obviously most of these big leg exercises are pretty much full body compound exercises when we think about it. Even a leg press, your whole upper body's braced. You know, I get out and my traps have got DOMs, because I'm like fucking like this, you know. So I always listen to heavy rock music. I've got a playlist, a heavy metal playlist, and there's like, you know, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit. I got to have someone screaming in my head. Like, that gets me like, fucking, let's fucking go. Like, I get quite like aggressive in my own head, not to other people obviously, but I'm like looking at the floor and I'm like, let's fucking go, I'm gonna fucking smash it. Do you know what I mean? I get aggressive, do you know what I mean? And that helps me then put that into the set. And I know, again, other people are probably gonna be watching this like, bro, you've lost it, bro. But that's I kind of do a little bit, but it's controlled aggression, and that's the important thing. You know, I'm able to bring in that aggression, and sometimes on preps or you know, when I'm dieting and I'm like, this is getting really hard now. So say when you're off season, you're mid cycle, it's hard, but it's easier, because it's expected, you know. Whereas when I'm prepping and I'm dieting, I'm fighting for it. I'm fighting to hold the strength or progress the strength if I can. It's like your body would let it go easier, you know. So sometimes then I'll have to dig into, you know, potential, just imagining like certain stuff happening that you wouldn't want to happen, and then that kind of, I was sometimes before, and I don't do this very often, but I have done, you know, when you almost use that kind of dark energy a little bit.
Do you ever think about people talking shit, or like maybe someone out there is like, oh, Joe is never gonna get a pro card, or Joe is never, you ever think about that?
It's probably darker than that, to be honest.
Okay.
It's probably darker than people talking shit. It's more like, if I don't lift this, someone's gonna fucking kill my mum, because I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, absolutely no problem. Like, this set, no problem. You know what I mean? Because if that is the choice, and I mean, I know it's hypothetical, and I know that kind of energy is not positive. I get that. That's why I don't do it all the time. But sometimes if I'm like, fuck, this is the set that I need. This is that one set. Usually there's one or two sets within a a session that you know are going to be like
you can't do that. You can't turn that on for a whole workout. You can do that once or twice in a workout.
Yeah, for sure. Like usually for me, it's like probably one time, like maybe what I turn it on and I remain in it for that exercise.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're like, and that's something that I think is what's the word I'm looking for? You get better at doing it over time, or you get more efficient at doing it, and be able. But also, once I'm done, I'm out of it. I'm done. Like
Right, exactly.
it's gone. I'm not out, and I've used that energy up. But I do find sometimes after those sessions, I'm a little bit more mentally spent. I'm still fine, but I'm like, fuck, I put everything into that. You know, I came out and I'm like, I need to just take my ashwagandha, just go to lie down for 10 minutes. You know,
sit quiet in the car. And just like,
bro, you know them ones when you're just sat in the car and you're like, do you know what I did legs yesterday, and literally I did that, bro. I sat in the car after and I was like, I finally messaged my partner, you know, because I'm back in the car, I'm chill, like, hey, I hope you're good. I was like, I'm in one of them ones. I'm in the car and I can't move. I'm just going to stay here until I'm ready to go, you know.
Yeah, exactly. What when you were closer to Jordan, what's his are his days like totally different from the rest of us? Like, is he just like always focused on progression and taking naps during the day and like?
It's hard for me to say, you know, what his exact days like, because Jordan's a very private guy in terms of his actual life. But I've known Jordan for a long time now, and I know he's an incredibly.
Are there any examples where you're like, wow, this guy is obsessed? Or even with yourself, are there things you do that are like so uncommon where you're like, what, this is actually an indication of how obsessed I am to the progress?
I think all of us are obsessed to a degree. You know, I am obsessed with Jordan's. Like, I would say his training is, I don't want to say obsessive, that's the wrong word, but he's so meticulous. Meticulous is the right word. Like, he's because, you know, he always says stuff like, and I was actually talking to a client about this morning. He was talking to me about feeling tired, and I was like, okay. And this is something I got from Jordan. When you feel tired, it's a fucking feeling. It's a feeling that you can choose to disregard, you know? And I'm not saying that's easy. It's not. But if you're tired, like Jordan always says, okay, he's like, every day I wake up and I'm smashed, I'm beat to bits, I'm tired. And like, if I let that come in and resonate itself with me, I would, you know, those feelings would gather, and then I would get more and more like, I don't want to go. But he's like, nah, fuck, that's a feeling, gosh, done. Either way, I do the work, whether I feel tired or whether I don't feel tired, because I can just, he's like, I have that ability to just switch it on and go do it. Now, that's what I mean by the level of meticulousness, and Jordan's ability to do that every single fucking day, as in for years and years, for decades. That's why he's been able to, you know, train the way he does and get to where he does. And again, that is the very upper echelons of what I think physical performance can be, and mental performance as well, because he just does it whether he feels like doing it or not. And I think that's a lesson that a lot of us can take, because there's going to be more times, probably more times than not, for times where we're going to be like, yeah, I don't really want to go today. I don't really want to do it today, you know? But if you just do it anyway, like,
that's one thing I noticed with this off season, because I heard Jordan say that, like, for him to go to the next level, he has to be prepared to be very uncomfortable a lot of the time. And I noticed, because this off season I really tried to like turn everything up to like a new level. And so I'm actually doing cardio 4 times a week, just for the blood pressure and conditioning.
Good.
And because of my colitis, bro, I've had like 3 cheat meals since January. Because if I go home and I eat something, I'm sitting on the toilet.
No.
So I'm like, so my coach was like, well, perfect. Like, you're gonna have to be the perfect bodybuilder.
That's one positive you can take from it, right?
Yeah, and then like just thinking like, okay, honestly, I used to think you can be tired in prep, or you can be like worn down in prep, but off season you're supposed to be like 100% energetic all the time, or but that's not the truth.
It's not the case. No.
If often you're gonna be fucking beat up, and you're gonna have to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to work my ass off to get through this workout.
I think you're so right, bro. It's a different level or different standard of fatigue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like your prep, you're just fatigued because you've got your energy battery is down. You've got not much energy left. Whereas in off season, you're fatigued because you smash yourself to bits. Yeah. You're carrying more body weight. Your body's having to do more on a daily basis in terms of like digesting food, recovering from the damage that you put it under. It's always trying to resynthesize muscle cells, etc., etc. So it's like that you never really are in a position, very rarely, that you're like, I'm sweet, everything's good, I feel good. The only times really for me is kind of like once you've done post prep, you've come back to post prep and you just start off season. That bit that I'm about to do, and then also the bit when you finish off season and you bring your food down, you start a little bit of cardio when you start prep essentially, and you're like, those first few weeks of prep, you're like, yeah, this is sweet because I'm not eating all that food in off season. I'm not hungry yet. Like cardio is 20 minutes a day. I can do that. That's fine. Like training's great. You know what I mean? Those I call them little golden periods. And I'm like, we don't live in those golden periods. We live in the struggle as a bodybuilder. We live in the struggle every fucking day, and it's a chosen struggle. So if you don't like it, go and do another fucking sport.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. But, Joe, one of the things that I love to ask bodybuilders about is, at what point in your career did you grow the most? And what were, like, in terms of PEDs, what were you doing then? And was that the highest you've gone? Or was it...
No, the highest I did was probably when I looked my worst, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
And okay, so just trying to think when I grew the most. Probably when I'd say there's two phases of growth so far. When I started doing push-pull legs with Jordan.
Yeah.
Back in, what was that? Because I used to follow his principles before he coached me. Yeah. So I started doing the push-pull legs back then, and that was probably 2000 and, just trying to think now, 2020, late 2000 and teens, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Probably 2017, 2018. I had a good, it's 2019, because that's 2018 to 2019, because that's when I did classic and then went up to do super heavy bodybuilding. But then when I started with Patrick in 2021, that was when I probably had one of the best growth spurts that I did, because of, I would say, because of the training. And the things with the food with him was that I wasn't eating as much food as I was eating before. I was doing about 6,500 calories, which is still a lot, but I'd eaten more. But it was all clean food.
Yeah,
it was all clean food. That made a huge difference. And then when it comes to drugs, honestly, it's hard to think what I was doing back then. It's hard to be accurate. I can tell you what I did as the highest I've ever done, which is just fucking stupid. This is like, don't do this, people. This is dumb. And I'm not going to say he was coaching me or when it was either. I'll just say that, because that's not fair. I was doing 5.5 grams total load.
Oh, fuck.
Do you know what? I've got it on my phone. I'll tell you.
Fuck, that's a lot.
I found it in my...
But it's not, but just for everyone watching, it's not uncommon at all.
No, I know. And most of that was, I say most of it, half of that, which is actually probably even worse, was orals.
Oh, okay.
Because imagine the stress. Like, I remember when I got my bloods done.
Yeah.
And my bloods are usually pretty good, all things considered. But at this point, wow, it was bad. Like, it was bad. Let me find, I've got it here. I don't know where. I remember I've written this up.
It's always fun to look back at.
It is, because also it shows me, like, I remember my health was at its worst in terms of, here it is. God. My health was at its worst in terms of blood work. In fact, I didn't feel fine. I felt horrendous because mentally I was cooked. I was my physique looked tired. My skin was red. I just it looked unhealthy, right? It was 5 grams of test, 700 milligrams of Masteron, which is 100 a day, 100 milligrams of Tren a day, Trenase. So that's 700 milligrams of Tren a week. Yeah. I was also doing Trestolone, which is otherwise known as Ment, 25 milligrams a day, Clen at 120, Proviron at 50, 100 Winnie, 100 Anibar, 30 Halo, 100 Anadrol, 40 tamoxifen, a milligram of Arimidex every day, and Caber 3 times a week, and then 10 IU of growth a day.
Fuck, yo. So obviously this was in prep.
It was on a prep, yeah.
How many weeks out was that?
I remember it just got to the point when I need to be careful what I say when it was, because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus with that.
No.
But I was on that for a long time. I was on that for a very long time. It was an extended prep because of certain situations within the world. If that makes sense.
Okay, I get you. But bro, I've honestly I haven't been close to that, but I also had a prep. Actually, my last show was like the Gasp show in Sweden.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that was also, actually that was my best showing. But we went up to like also 100 milligrams of tren a day, and it was horrible, man. I will watch old YouTube videos from back then, and I would be like, I will sit and cringe because I'm such an asshole. Like, I'm so arrogant. I'm talking fast. I'm like, fuck, honestly.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I think I had a call with a client yesterday actually, and we were talking about drug use and stuff like that. And I said to him, because he said, he's like, I know I was taking tren. It was a client consultation. I was like, how did you feel on that? And he was like, well, not great, man. And I was like, okay, here we go. So for me, I've actually not taken tren now for nearly 4 years.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. And not on your preps either.
Nope, not touched since 2021. Yeah, honestly, because it got to the point, bro. I'll be honest. I've been taking gear since I was 21, so I've done everything under the sun over the time span, and taking tren on and off, preps and stuff for, let's say, a decade. Every single time something bad in my life would happen, like I'd split with a partner or lose something, or fall out with someone. Pretty much 95% of the time, I was taking tren.
Yeah.
Right? So
and then you gotta look inward. Sounds like maybe I was causing the issue.
Maybe I'm the problem here, and also, but what's the thing that's causing me to be like that? Ultimately it's my responsibility because I am like that. But if I know that thing makes me like that, then why the fuck am I doing it? Because I'll be honest, yes, it can give you a lot in terms of like strength and hardening and the grainy look. But for me, it took more from my life than what it gave me. So I was like, you know what? I made a decision in 2021. I said, I will never, ever, ever take tren again in my life. And if that comes at the detriment of my bodybuilding, so be it.
Yeah.
So be it. And here we are 3 years later with a pro card and competing in the pro. So I managed to do it.
I hate John Jewett. He did his last Olympia prep without tren and very few orals as well.
C-Bum didn't either, did he? He didn't take tren for the past few years, and it's interesting because it's, as you said, that with orals, I didn't take many orals this prep either. This was a very light prep in terms of drug use, which is pretty cool.
It sucks that it takes so long time to learn it for us, but like that's the beauty of bodybuilding. You're always learning, and you get to a point where like, damn, it starts making sense,
Do you know what, bro? It's crazy because the best way to learn is obviously experience, but experience takes a long time. But whereas, like, if somebody sat here, say, 19-year-old sat here listening to us now, was like, oh, okay, I'll take that into consideration. Maybe I won't do that. But they're going to do it.
Yeah,
of course they're going to do it. Of course you're going to do it. And you'll go and find out what I just said for yourself. Yeah. So that's cool, because I think there's nothing more powerful, though, than personal experience, because now you're like, I don't need anyone to tell me. I know, like I did it. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I know what I can make my own mind up on X, Y, or Z now. So yeah.
I hate my dad is always right.
Yeah, that's always right.
I bought like when was that? Last Christmas, I bought I got a G-Wagon.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, and bro, having that in Denmark is like fucking expensive. and I drive home to my parents and I'm like, oh, can you guys come out to the road because I think one of my tires is flat. I hadn't told them, so it's like, just come out and check the car for me. And they came out to the road, and my mom was like, yeah,
love that.
And my dad, he was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm not taking a drive in that ever. And then I was like, yeah. So Joe, now I had to sell it a year later.
Yeah.
Bro, I lost so much money on that. Now I'm like looking at cars that my dad had suggested back then. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, he was right.
So much pain.
The ones that don't depreciate. I bet he was saying, you get this one, get that one.
Yeah, get like a fucking nice Audi or something. Like I would fucking love that.
Man, I did a lot of that when I was. I haven't really, to be honest, the past.
Oh, you had some sick cars. I remember.
Yeah, I had some nice cars. I had the RS5. Like the RS5 is such a sick car, man. Like it's fast. It's it costs a good bit of money, but it's not. Doesn't break the bank. It's very much affordable. For
you had the Q8 as well.
Yeah, I had the Q8 at the same time as the RS5, which is a bit stupid.
Really?
Yeah, so I basically had them both at the same time, and I was spending a lot of money because my insurance was quite high because I lost my license back in 2020. Oh. So my insurance was high, and then anyway, I unfortunately lost my license again last year. And I got it back.
I'm not making this up, Joe. I don't have a license right now either.
Oh, really? No way. How does that work?
That's why I sold the G-Wagon, because I need to buy a car that's like really neutral. So like like a family car or something. So
because man, the insurance is crazy, bro. Like I was looking even just to get like an RS3 or something like that, which is essentially like a small car, but I wanted something that was fast, or at least give me a little bit of fun,
excitement.
And even to do an RS3, it was looking at like £900 a month insurance, just for the insurance. And I'm like, I can't justify spending that, because then also you got to you buy the car, spend the money on the car, whatever your monthlies are on that. And I'm like, for an RS3, nearly $2,000 a month. I'm like, bro, I could have like a fucking supercar for that. You could get like a GT3 or something. And I'm like, no. I'm not spending that money on that.
I ended up getting a Golf 8 GTI.
Oh yeah, nice.
Mate, that's perfect because it looks like very neutral.
Yeah.
And you can still like kind of kick.
Yeah. My brother used to work for Land Rover, and they had a partnership with Golf at the time, so he had this GTI, and I think they're sick. I've actually got, this is funny enough, I've got a friend now who I'm training with every now and again at King's Gym in London, and he's got a Golf R. Bro, it's like stage 3 gear, like it's full on, like it's nuts, mate. Took me out in it. It's running on ethanol, and it's 620 brake in this thing, and I was like, oh my! I've never been anything so fast in my life. It was nuts.
Nah, they're nuts. Driving like a race car.
Oh mate, it is. It's not crazy. He's selling it now because he's like, this thing's fucking crazy, bro. But yeah, I had some fun in my cars. I had like the M2, had the A45 AMG Mercedes. I think, to be honest, my funnest car was the BMW M2.
Yeah,
for sure. It wasn't the fastest car I've had, but the funnest car. Man, that thing was, when you know how to drive it, when you feel the car and you've been in it a while, and I knew when I'm on the throttle and I could be on and off it, and the back end would be like, I'd be holding it going around a corner. Obviously, private roads in Mexico, obviously.
Right.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. But Joe, what's just to we better cap off. But let me just hear final question. What's next for you now? So you earned the pro card. You did very well at your first pro show. You took like 9th place or something.
Yeah, it was 10th place actually, but top 10. I'll take it. You looked
very good up like next to the big guys there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Very good, and your posing was the best on stage, and I think you followed along size wise, because you're also like a big guy. You're tall and you're big of structure.
Yeah, I think that was something that I didn't feel small. I went there thinking I'm gonna fucking get smashed here and feel small, but I think because, like you said, I'm 6'1", 186 centimeters, and so 250 pounds on stage, which I know I need to be like at least 270 next time. But to that, like just structurally, when I was backstage, I was like, oh, okay, I don't feel too bad. But the difference was the density, man, like the thickness. Like standing, I remember stood behind Derek at one point backstage and just looking at his back, like, fuck, like that's crazy, bro.
But that's number one in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you're right. And there's that picture of like, I got a picture of most muscular next to Nick, and I was like, I look all right, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like there's just another thing, isn't it? We're so self-critical, and we always want to be better. And sometimes it's not until we actually do the fucking thing that we're like, actually, I did all right, you know.
Yeah,
And I think giving myself a pat on the back is kind of what I needed, to be honest.
right.
Because if I had just won my pro card and not done that, I'd have been like, oh, you know, where am I? You know, I'd have still done the same thing essentially in the terms of the journey. But like, I know so many guys who turn pro and then still 1, 2, 3 years later, they're still trying to build that pro physique and they've not stepped on stage. Sometimes I think just fucking compete and
Yeah,
see how you get on, you
yeah.
know? And at the end of the day, this is my opinion, obviously, right? I love to compete. I love to be on stage. I'm a showman, man. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
is that I love working towards something. Now, obviously, now I'm pro. I can't compete all the time, at least not yet, because I need to make improve. I mean, I could, obviously, but not really much point.
You need
Obviously,
those extra like 3 or 4 or 5 kilos.
yeah, 100%. Probably, yeah, literally about that, I would say. Probably, I mean, look, I was on stage just around about 250 in America, and I
Yeah.
think realistically, minimum 260 pounds.
Yeah,
Peel,
you have
like
that in the
peel.
right places. You're gonna be competitive a lot of shows.
It's exactly that, and that's the goal now. So the plan now essentially is I'm literally just about to finish my health phase, get some bloods done this week actually, and then obviously Patrick will tell me what the plan is in terms of going on to the cycle, training, etc., etc. And he's told me actually a way because he knows that my appetite's where what I said about metabolism, etc. Like, so I have to eat so much, and there's only so long I can do that for before you're like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty fucking. I'm a realist. I can just keep pounding away, but there's a point in which, okay, something needs to pull back here. So what we'll probably do is do it in like spurts of like 6 to 8 weeks of hammering it. You know, go heavy on the food,
Okay.
and then we'll do a couple of weeks pulling you back. And it's like, so that also that super compensation effect where we're doing, let's say, he's like, we'll go harder than what you've been able to do before until you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then we'll pull back for 3, 4 weeks, resensitize everything. You know, you're not going to lose muscle. You're just going to kind of clean up a little bit and then we'll push on again. And he was like, we'll just keep going in phases like that so that you can keep
Wow.
going.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I like that approach because so many times, especially in off season, especially now, I know I'm going to have at least a year of growing, like minimum, right? So if I start this diet and then 6 weeks in, I'm like, look, I'm already struggling, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got a whole year of this. Obviously we stay with it, of course, but mentally it's not very. It's like, wow, that's going to be horrible. So unless you put in a diet
It
break
keeps you
here and there,
excited. Also, you're like, okay,
yeah,
now it's the next 6 weeks. Like, let's fucking go.
yeah,
Then
we're
you
going to
like
win a
pull back
big
a little
push.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be excited for both of those phases because I'm like, I want to get the most out of this growth phase. No, I mean, the whole thing's a growth phase, the most out of this push phase. But then I'm like, oh man, all right, I can't wait until the end of next week where I
Right.
pull food down again. Now
Yeah.
I've earned it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see. He's come like some of his, like, I can tell that he's very good. Obviously, he's an incredible coach, but he's very good at understanding his clients' bodies and then doing what's right for them. Because obviously, that approach wouldn't work for other people.
Yeah.
Obviously, not for everybody. So because not everybody needs to push as hard as I do with food.
Yeah.
You've got guys who can grow on 4.5, 5,000 calories, who I'm jealous of.
Right.
But
Makes sense. But what's the next step for you in terms of competing? Like, what's your
yeah,
dream there?
probably. Well, the thing is, it all depends upon what the progression is like, right? So if obviously, as I said, what are we now? June? No, yeah, June. So we've got July. I mean, up till next July, that's a year, right? So I could technically do a year off season and then start a prep next July and compete back into next year if all things go to plan. If that's what we wanted to do, but I don't want to put a time frame on it. Really, I want to go when I'm ready. I need probably realistically need to hit north of 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'm 260. 265, 267 at the moment. Obviously, I'm not on cycle and I'm not
That's
pushing
140 kilos or 130?
136 to be precise.
136. Okay.
Yeah. So I
Damn.
think if I was to reach that body weight, heaviest I've ever been is 286. Because I don't get fat, like I just don't. Like I've always got abs and lines in my legs and stuff. Not peeled, but like you can see the physique, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and again, that's like my fast metabolism holding things together. But when if I can get up to 300 pound looking respectable, I think I'll be able to then cut back down from there to be, you know, if it be like I said, 260 at minimum.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. So that's the goal. Get on stage. I'd really quite like the look of the Detroit show.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
But that would be obviously not 2026. That's too soon. So that'd be 2027. So whether I compete back in the next year or early 27, I don't mind. I'll leave the ball in Patrick's court and he can decide when he thinks I'm big enough.
and private and business wise, anything?
Yeah, just I think. Yeah, so I think now it's kind of I've never really been in this position because I've always been like, I will know when the next show is.
Yeah.
You know, because I'll either come out of a show and be like, well, I'm doing another one in a few weeks or whatever. But at least at the end of a prep, I'll be like, because my goal has always been to turn pro and I've always not got it. So I'm like, well, I need to go do that again. So I'm like, well, I'll compete in. So if I do like a little health phase, off season for 4 months, and then I can do a prep, I'll be competing in 8 months. So I'm almost like, I know, and then I'm back into a prep before I know it. Whereas this time it's like, well, I've got however long I need. So I want to really prioritize. I'm trying to keep up my getting up early, which I'm doing at the moment. You know, not what I was on prep. Because I was getting up at 4 a.m. on prep. That was, you know how it is. And now I'm like, right, get up at like 5:30, 6, and I'm trying to be really productive in the morning. I've replaced my morning. I would get up and go do cardio. I've replaced that with getting up to work. So I'm like, it's my best time for my brain to be creative and to focus and to do my best work. And I find, because I like to train at like 2:00, right? That's kind of like my time. So I'm like, if I can start working by 6, by 6 till 2, you know, I could still get kind of like 7, 8 hours good working.
Yeah.
6 hours on a bad day. And then what I can also do, because I do find when I get back from training, I'm not very useful. You know how it is. But then in the evening, I can do like minor work, like Instagram content posts and, you know, whatever needs to be done, but not my heavy work. I do that early portions of the day. Now I'm in this phase, I can allow myself to do that a little bit more rather than being like, fuck, I've got to go do cardio or whatever.
Right. And what's the big plan? You do a lot of coaching now. I'll do it at the beginning of the video. I'll put up your Instagram and like,
oh, sick,
like, so we get people to follow you.
Cheers, man.
What's the plan with the business? Is it focused on editors or?
Yeah. So funnily enough, I've actually probably about 2-3 months ago decided to start focusing on actual first-time competitors. I'm starting to put a lot of focus on. I want to be like the first-timers coach, like the go-to guy for that, because for me, I've had you don't know what it's like. I have a lot of guys approach me for conversations in the gym, online, and it's guys thinking about competing or doing their first show, whatever. And the conversations I have, they're asking me these questions that I'm like, that's like, it's just a simple question, you know, like just like basic stuff. And I'm like, I could help out so much in this. So I've actually just created this first timers prep guide. I started creating it, dude. Yeah. It's ended up being about 80 pages long. It's fucking,
really?
It's a beast, man. I was like, you know, because I thought I'll do this first times prep guide. I'll help people with this, that, and the other. I started doing it. And then the more you do, the more is coming out. And I was like, fuck this.
Sure.
You know how it is. And I'm like, okay, this is, I was like, well, if we're going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. And I'm obviously just going to give it away for free. So anybody that wants it can have it. And then from the back of that, it would be nice if people could see the value in here, knows what it was on about. And obviously like a funnel for everything, isn't it? So if you like the value of it and you like to come see your coaching, then sweet. And if not, you just get a good value document anyway. So yeah, so that's kind of where I want to take things and then start building towards that. Because for me, it's like, I enjoy working with, you know, before I was like, I work with any competitors, first timers, you know, which I still will, of course. I just not add marketing so much to it.
I think it's a really smart niche.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's actually, there's a lot of people in that niche. But it's still like it's not too broad, so it's something where you can go out and be like the number one expert in.
That's kind of where my thought process is. You know, I haven't really seen anyone that's doing it. I'm sure there are, no doubt. I haven't really seen anyone, and even if there are, that's great. There could be 2 or 3 of us. That's fine.
But I think that's brilliant, man.
Yeah, thanks, bud. And to be fair, I really enjoy working with guys who are at the start of their competitive journey because it's more than just getting you in shape. It's so much more than that. It's like you're going to go through shit in your head that you didn't even know that you were going to be able to go through. And like, even down to stuff like how to fucking sort your skin prep out to get your tan done. You don't know that because you've never done it. So I'll help you do it, you know, choosing your posing trunks, you know.
It's also a transformative phase for your like self-development. You go from being the guy who likes to train and maybe eats clean 5 days a week. And then you go from that to like, okay, now I'm actually like really disciplined. I'm like, I went from a guy who just lifts weights to being a very like focused individual.
Yeah, and you're so right, man. It's helping people go through that transition period and understanding what needs to be done, but also like traversing things like you probably sit with your clients all the time, and especially with competitors, it's like, you know, how to traverse the relationship with your parents or with your partner, because that's huge. And that's stuff that most coaches, you know, no disrespect to anyone, because it's not a thing you talk about.
Nah, they're just like follow the plan.
Here's your diet plan, here's your training program, do an hour's cardio, off you go. You know, and that's going to get you in shape, but you're going to be at home scared to talk to your coach because you're like, fuck, like mum and dad are telling me not to do this, or my girlfriend's hating this, I don't know what to do. Whereas if you had someone that you could talk to about that, how to understand those conversations, you know, that I think that's just incredibly helpful. So
that's a good idea.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
You're a very good role model for younger guys. So I think that's going to be a fucking good idea, man. Remember to save all the. Are you sending out the guide on DMs or what?
Don't worry. No, I've got it all sorted. You know, I get all.
Okay, good. Yeah. Pick up on the conversations. You know.
Yeah, of course. It's all set. It's all set.
Nice.
I appreciate that. Though. I know you know what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. That's so important. Like, just keeping on. Like, sometimes you'll have a client start up, and you go back and see the DM conversation. It's like, fuck, man. We started chatting together in 2023. Yeah. And now they're like, let's fucking start, you know?
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it? I love that. But what about you, man? What about you and your business? Because I remember I first came across each other back in the Linus days, wasn't it? In like 2019, 2020, was it? Something like that? It was a long time ago.
Yeah. No, but all's good. I'm still working with Linus.
Love that, man.
Have a good agreement with them. And basically, like, this year has been all about, like, the team that I have with my coaches on the team. Yeah, it's like they've been working for me for 7-8 years now.
No way.
Like,
that's crazy, bro.
Good. They're so like they're becoming like coaches in their own name as well, you know.
Yeah. That's brilliant. You've helped them build that.
Yeah, and bro, it's the number one thing for us this year has been retention.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We went from like average lifetime of a client is like 5 months, and we grew that this year to 6.9 months.
Oh, nice. That's huge.
Oh, that's like, and it's been a whole process where we like, after the first 4 weeks, we follow up and like, okay, how's everything going? And then we just have a conversation like, listen, if you could achieve anything you wanted, like, what's the goal physique if we look forward? And then they'll be motivated after 4 weeks. And then they'll say like, okay, if I could do whatever the fuck I want like 10% body fat and I want to gain like 5 kilos of muscle. And then we pick it up early in the process. Like, okay, we can do that, but maybe 5 months is not enough for that. Maybe we should go for 7 months.
Yeah.
And they're like, fucking like, Simon, let's just go for that.
Yeah. That's the thing. When you sell the result, it's very easy, because why wouldn't they want that? That's what you sign up for, essentially. It's just how you have that conversation, right? Yeah. No, I love that, man. That's brilliant.
And it's good to hear, man. It's like you pick it up early and you pick it up at a point where they're motivated. And then, of course, like, you just let them know that you have a specific method for doing this.
Yeah.
But then sell them on, like you said, like, sell them on the result. Just like, don't sell the, like, sell the vacation
process,
not the
yeah, exactly. Of course. That's the thing, isn't it? And I think sometimes with bodybuilding, I talk about the result, but some of the boys actually want to talk about the process a little bit as well, because they want to talk about how I train. I'm like, maybe that's not going to be what I'm going to do with you, though, you know. But that's why it's always like, let's talk about the end goal, and then we can reverse engineer that bit in a little bit of time after this call, when we get on another one.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, everything is good there. I'm just trying to. It's just always a struggle finding enough hours in the day.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Well,
being on
appreciate you fitting me in, bro.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
like sometimes are you always perfect with sleep in your off season?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. Like the CPAP was a game changer, big
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah.
I game changer because I would find in the off season, and my partner could attest to this, dude. Like it would get to about 11 o'clock, and I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
trying to do check-ins, and I can feel that I'm going, and then the only time they would pull me out because I'd have to go to train early at like 1 o'clock because I'm like I literally can't do anything. I need to leave the house. I need to bang a pre-workout and just go to train.
Yeah.
So I started using the CPAP, and man, my sleep quality, my sleep time, all improved. My actual time in bed hasn't changed, but
Nah.
the quality of the sleep whilst I'm in bed changed a lot. And I don't wake up in the night at all. I just
Nah,
sleep all the way
bro, that's
through with my
beautiful.
CPAP. Yeah, it's
That's
very nice.
yeah. No, but bro, I think this was amazing, man. We got around everything.
Yeah, mate, it's good to chat. I just love to chat, just pretty much just bodybuilding and some fun stuff
Yeah.
as well. A little bit of business, a little bit of car chat. That was
And
good, man.
bro, yeah, exactly. And keep up with the the podcast. Where can people listen to your podcast?
So just on my YouTube actually, which is just if you search Joe Ballinger, you'll be able to find my YouTube. I did my first one with James, which went out a week and a half ago or so, and I've got a few people in the pipeline that I want to get on. The goal is to do like it's called Pro Talk Podcast, so just get on like some big name pros, shoot the shit, basically like we've just done here,
Yeah.
and just talk about bodybuilding, man. Talk about their journeys, talk about how they got there, what they enjoy, their training styles, what motivates them, incentivizes them, and the ups and downs. And the James one was really good one to kick off because James is a
Well,
very
I
deep
heard
character.
it was fucking good.
Yeah, he's thank you, man. Yeah, he's a very deep character, and
Yeah.
I enjoy having conversations like that as well. It get a bit of philosophy comes in, and like the emotional side. And James shows a lot of vulnerability, and I respect that as well. But he's yeah. So I will continue for sure. We've got a few in the pipeline, so I'll keep you posted, bro.
Well, that's
Thank you.
like also from a business perspective, because
Mm.
you're never gonna get a client from someone watching a 15-second reel.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
100%. Times have changed.
no, but the more hours people spend with you virtually,
Mm,
the more likely they are to buy from you. And this
yeah,
podcast you made with James, like some guy, he's gonna sit and watch you guys talk for an hour, and he's gonna
yeah,
be like, "Fuck, I really like Joe." You don't
yeah,
get that from a TikTok reel.
yeah. So true, man, isn't it? Because especially
So
the
much more
realist,
valuable.
yeah, yeah, and you're talking authentically with laughter, emotion. It's
Yeah,
all raw, nothing scripted. Whereas obviously a lot of the stuff we do nowadays is scripted because we need to get all this information in this small bit of time, and it's
yeah,
harder to be as real and raw. But that's the way social media is, and you're so right. YouTube's such a good vehicle for that, right?
yeah, absolutely. Please, like, that's a really good move. Keep that up, man.
No, I appreciate that, and thank you so much for having me on as well,
Yeah.
bro. I know
Well, and
we've
thank you
always
for your
stayed in
time.
touch over the
We
years.
went longer than I thought, actually, but I could have talked for hours. Well, thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, mate, absolute pleasure, man. Thank
Best
you for having me.
way to get in contact with you is on Instagram.
Yeah, I would say so. Instagram is I've changed my handle now. It's Joe Ballinger _ IFBB Pro.
What?
There we go. And I do have my work number contact in the links and stuff. So people either message me there or directly on Instagram. I'm happy to. I reply to all my Instagram DMs. So yeah,
Awesome. We'll throw that up also.
legend. Thank you, brother.
No, really, man. Appreciate it so much.
Pleasure,
Thanks, man.
guys. Let's
Take
go.
care, man.